Have you ever watched an award show? If you have, then I am sorry. And were you ever rooting for something in a specific category to win that award and it loses to something else?
Come on, I need Frontiers to win. I got a lot writing on this.
Or the thing that wins the most awards that night is something that you've never seen or heard of?
Come on, Elden Ring, I need you to win this. What even is that?
I have had this happen to me many times before, and I am tired of it. I'm just a college student. I don't have the money to spend on constant video games. And even if I did, I don't have the time to play any of them. This isn't my job. I don't get free things from companies to review them. Yet. So I've come up with a solution. Create my own Game Awards show. Here's how things will work. I will call out a specific category, and I will give it to the one game that I've played this year that fits it the best, and that one game will win this. I made it myself. It's a trophy in the shape of me, holding other trophies in the shape of me. I call it a Kai-fi. Kai, I don't know, work in progress name. Now after a game wins an award, I'm gonna throw it over there, like so. Now that you understand the gist of what's going on, let's begin with our first category, the game that restored my faith in the franchise. And the award goes to Pokemon Legends Arceus. I wouldn't say my faith was entirely lost per se, but I think after playing BDSP and thinking to myself, wow, this is garbage. I was kinda worried for this game's fate, because if they messed up Gen 4 remakes, then how well is this gonna go, you know what I mean? And if they messed up this one, then how is the future of Pokemon gonna go? But after playing it, my concerns just drifted away. I did talk about it a little bit in my top 10 Switch games, so I'll summarize my thoughts. This was such a massive step forward for the franchise, and even though over a year later there are things about this game that I just really don't like, I still think this is one of the best Pokemon games we've gotten since Black and White 2. It's crazy how much the gameplay changes when you're able to catch a wild Pokemon without having to battle it, and throwing your own Pokemon at it if you do want to battle it. It really adds to the experience of feeling like a Pokemon trainer. You just run around the area catching a bunch of Pokemon, and even if it might seem repetitive, it somehow still stays fun. The entire game revolves around you exploring different areas, catching rare Pokemon, and filling up your Pokedex. And in other games where it might seem tedious, Arceus keeps it engaging by having different types of Pokemon behavior. Some may try to run away, or some might try to attack you. Most will try to attack you. Okay, everything will try to kill you. Tiny Crabs had it out for me in this one. And since this game takes place during a time where there's no Pokemon leagues or any of that, this leads to this game having the most unique Pokemon story I've seen in a mainline game. And that's the word to describe this game, unique. It changes so much of what we expected from Pokemon, even though it had some shortcomings to it. Back then, if a game had fun gameplay and it had like a bunch of other redeeming aspects to it, I wouldn't really care about the visual aspects of it. Pokemon makes me care. Whenever I play a game that I think looks gorgeous, I just think about how Pokemon as a franchise makes double of that and can make their games look as good, if not better than that, but it doesn't. Even though this game does run well, art style wise, this is the ugliest game I have ever seen. Very few moments does this game look like it was released in 2022, but for most of the time, no joke, I've seen Roblox games look better than this. Plus, in order to get this kind of scope within a Pokemon game, they had to cut a lot of stuff and features, like held items, abilities, breeding, no multiplayer battling, and the limited move pool. All of that, while bringing down the experience a little bit, it never really hampered how much fun I was having with this game. The amount of risks this game took was well worth it to make it one of the best Pokemon games in the series. If this game ended up bad, I would have dropped this series immediately, so I think it deserves all the praise it's been getting. Here comes another one. And for our next category, the wow, this game died harder than Bruce Willis, and the award goes to Multiverses. Every summer there is a multiplayer game that comes out that unites everybody. And this summer was Multiverses, and everyone I knew hopped on that because 1, it's free, and 2, it has a bunch of Warner Brothers characters, like Rain Dog, everyone's favorite. The game plays like a lot of other platform fighters, but with a few major differences. The combat takes place less on the ground and more in the air. Aerial attacks can string into each other, you have more air dodges, you can wall jump infinitely now. All of this and more makes matches feel less grounded and more like DBZ fights. And what keeps this from being repetitive is that every character has their own gimmick attached to them. Tom and Jerry has this ice climber tag team thing going on. Some of Rain Dog's moves are super effective in 2v2s. And Velma calls the police using her special move, White Woman Tears. Iron Giant, and what I think is the biggest change this game brings is that it mainly focuses on 2v2 battles. You can do 1v1s, but the characters are clearly balanced with 2v2s in mind. So all of these changes I just listed and more have the power to not only make Multiverses stand on its own, but also make it a great competitor to Smash Ultimate. So obviously, the game lost 99% of its player base. How did this happen? Simple. It's free to play. Making your game free to play is great if you want a lot of people to try it out, but the downside of this is that you have to constantly put in new stuff, new content, new things to keep people interested. Otherwise, people are gonna hop onto a newer free to play game. I remember when this happened to one of my favorite FPSs, Splitgate. It's Halo, but you can place portals everywhere. It's fun, I liked it a lot. And for a while, everyone loved it. Then Halo Infinite came out and people hopped on that, leaving Splitgate for dead. I hate people now. The issue with Multiverses is that not only did it not get enough updates, which I get, making video games takes a while, but whenever it did get new updates, like a new character, it was picks that no one really cared about. I want you to close your eyes for a sec, right? And when I say the words, Warner Brothers crossover fighter, I want you to imagine the first character that pops into your head. You got it? Notice how none of you niggas thought of Stripe. It also didn't help that you had to pay for locked characters with in-game currency. Don't want to pay for the character? Well, I guess you're gonna have to wait a few weeks for them to enter free rotation. So matches online are usually consisting of free rotation characters, cause no one wants to spend money on this game. So the aspect of the game that I used to find replayable is now boring. And everyone feels this way, cause no one's playing it anymore. The game is so dead, Warner Brothers is now saying that it's always been an open beta and is taking it down June 25th and bringing it back early 2024. This won Best Fighting Game at the Game Awards.
This is disgusting!
I do feel bad for the developers, because this really is a good game. It's just that with other free-to-play games like Fortnite or Apex, today's standards are so ridiculously high that they just can't possibly compete. Plus it doesn't help that 30 plus characters already got leaked to be coming in the game, so there's like no more surprises. But still, it was a good game that met a tragic end, so it deserves something at least. Here comes another one. On to the next category, the best VMaster, and the award goes to the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I was gonna put Crisis Core Reunion on here, but to be honest I haven't played that much of it. And this was the only other remaster I played. I do love it, don't get me wrong, but I was also this close to putting Goku and Fortnite on here. Still putting them in the thumbnail. How do you recommend a game to someone when the game is best experienced blind? That's the position I'm in when I recommend the Stanley Parable to people, where giving a basic synopsis of this game does not do it justice. I was lucky enough to jump in headfirst with the original years back, and I loved my time with it. So you know I was looking forward to the Ultra Deluxe like day one. The original Stanley Parable was all about choices. What happens if you choose the right choice? What happens if you choose the wrong one? What happens if your choices don't even matter? Everything revolving around decisions was tackled in this game. So it's obvious that the Ultra Deluxe can't do that again. So that raises the question, what more can it add to the original? That is what the game is about. At the bare minimum, it's a remaster of the first game. It gives it an updated look and puts it onto a new engine. But then it asks, how much can you add to a remaster? Can you add too much to it? Can you add so much that it's considered a remake? What even is a remake? And how much can you add to that remake? And how much new stuff can you add where it can be considered a sequel? What even is a sequel? What even is DLC? How come you don't have any bitches? All of these questions we may never know. But what I do know is that this is more Stanley Parable and I get to hear more of the narrator. And that's a win in my book. Here comes another one. Damn, I didn't put much effort into that one. I'll make up for it next time though. For the next category, oh yeah, that happened. And the award goes to Overwatch 2. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I was kinda praying for this game's downfall, and I don't think anyone's gonna blame me for that. It looks exactly like the first Overwatch. I really didn't see a need for this game to exist at all at first. It seemed like the only reason they were making a sequel to Overwatch was to add a PvE element to it, which as of recording is still not in the game. And it seems like all of the little changes and updates to the game could have just been added to the first one, you know what I mean? I guess I've just been spoiled by older games that did the exact same thing but as a big update. But at least it was free, so I didn't have to lose anything from trying it out. And yeah, I was right, it's the exact same game. Also on a personal note, the best looking game my PC can run at like 60 FPS was the original Overwatch. And now with Overwatch 2, I can't even open it. And like, I don't know why, there's no visual changes. And like, that's the best way to describe Overwatch 2. It's the exact same game, but with little changes that didn't need to be changed at all. I guess the biggest change is that it's now 5v5, balancing the game better. And like, that's the only good change about it. Every other new change about this game comes with like a catch. They added new heroes, but the only way to get them is either grind the battle pass or pay money to get them. Also, there's a battle pass now, replacing the loot boxes. And I know this sounds bad, but I feel like Overwatch 1 was the only game to do loot boxes right. You get one for free for either queuing for a specific role or for every level up, and you can pay for the items you want through coins. which you can also get from loot boxes. I was able to get a bunch of cosmetics in the game without having to pay anything, but now with the loot box, if I want anything worthwhile, I have to pay for it, which is stupid. And you wanna know what else is stupid? The new mode. It's terrible. It takes 10 minutes to finish a round because it's always a stalemate. The robot never gets to anybody's base, so even if my team is losing, I have to take an extra 5 minutes to get comfortable with the fact that I'm losing. Is this what League players feel like? God, I get it now. They also completely removed the shield meta that was just corrupting the first game. Orisa now throws javelins instead of a shield. And like, I don't know if it's a personal thing, but even though I do like this change, I still hate a lot of the heroes. Bastion now moves in his turret form, so they made an annoying character even worse. I see Bastion as a litmus test on whether if you're a functioning member of society, or if you're a Mucinex gremlin who goes apeshit every time you find a new corner of the map to camp in. The few weeks that Bastion was taken out of the game was probably the best part of Overwatch 2, but even without Bastion, I just don't care about this game. The part of me that bought Overwatch day 1 on PS4 has died long ago, and now whenever a new update comes with like a new character or map, I just don't have it in me to boot up the game again. I don't get any free loot anymore, I'm not really into the competitive scene all that much, and I just don't have that much fun playing it anymore. I might boot it up on occasion to play with friends, but I'ma be honest, I just don't feel passionate about this franchise anymore. It's fine if you do, but I didn't see an issue just sticking with Overwatch 1. Here comes another one. Oh god, this next category is gonna suck. On to the next category, the most disappointing game of the year, and the award goes to... God damn it. Okay, so funny thing, the reason why I didn't talk about Scarlet and Violet before was because after playing Legends Arceus and thinking that game was great, I kinda already had faith that this game was gonna be great also. And like, can you blame me? The concept alone already sold me. Pokemon is one of those series that just benefits greatly from being open world, and if done right, would just automatically be amazing. And with co-op being in the game, I just thought it was gonna be a home run for them, honestly. And like, yeah, the base game is good. Running around Paldea and catching every Pokemon I see is really fun, and I really like that the 3 paths given to you, you can do them in any order. And even though there's no level scaling, I'm not one for difficulty anyway, so like I didn't mind that much. And I also love every single Pokemon introduced in this gen, with my favorite one being Mousehold, cause look at him. So like, this has the power to be one of, if not the best in the series. Has great Pokemon, great story, great gameplay, great everything. Minor issues here and there like level scaling and lack of trainer customization, but like these seem like the games to finally topple Gen 5 as the best in the series. Hi, I'm Kai, nice to meet you, and today I'm gonna be going over the top 5 reasons why I wanna fucking kill myself! I've played Security Breach day 1 on my base PS4, and no joke, it runs better than Scarlet and Violet. At least Security Breach didn't crash on me 8 different times, no, that's not an exaggeration. FPS drops to 10 consistently. The world pops in and out whenever you load in more than 10 Pokemon. The lighting feels like someone is flipping the light switch on and off over and over again. Now I wanna say this again, I really like these games. I honestly think this is on par with Arceus. Even though Arceus is the more polished game, I think that Scarlet and Violet has the better story structure, more multiplayer options, and has less areas in the game that make me want to puke. But dude, if these games had like the same polish as like every other Nintendo franchise, I think it'd be better than Arceus. I know everyone says this, but Pokemon is the largest media franchise ever of all time. And do you know how sad it is that I've seen indie games look better than this? Xenoblade 3 released in the same year, and everyone wants Pokemon to have that amount of polish. But these games sold 10 million copies in 3 days. In that time span, they outsold the entire Xenoblade franchise. So realistically, nothing will get better. And that sucks, cause honestly, these games are really good. I wouldn't be this passionate if I thought they were bad. It's just that the performance makes me wanna... Tomorrow has finally come today! The last video I made was also about these games, so you can tell that I am very upset. So let's talk about other stuff now. But first, hey, I was trying to take a nap. Why I got hit by a thing that looks like me? And on to the next award. The game that I almost made my game of the year. And the award goes to... Sonic Frontiers. Okay, look, I know what you're gonna say. This, game of the year. Really, Kai? Get the hell out! And like, look, I get it. I know this is like the most 7 out of 10 game ever, but I put this here for 2 reasons. The game is actually great. I don't think it's a 7 out of 10. I think it's like an 8 out of 10 to 9 out of 10. This is like the best Sonic has ever controlled since the adventure games. I was never really worried about the world being empty because as Sonic, you have the power to just run through everything. Nothing much gets in your way, and I appreciate that a lot. And going through like different platforming segments to get items is so satisfying, especially especially when you have the power to just skip platforming segments just to grab the reward. I had so much freedom in my movement that I could just run around not doing anything and it'd still be fun. And the combat is also a lot of fun. Even though a lot of the enemies are kind of pushovers, it's really satisfying to pull off different combos and just obliterate every enemy in your way. And like, I know that there's a lot of flaws in this game. The cyberspace levels are the worst part of the game. They only have 3 different aesthetics, and we've seen 3 of them from every single Sonic game before this. And the controls for these segments might be the worst Sonic has ever controlled. And like, I don't get it, just transfer the open zone gameplay into the cyberspace levels. I don't know how this happened, and there just seems to be a lot of jank in this game. Like, the best way to play this game is by going through a platforming segment in the open zone, fly in the air, look around, and then go to the other platforming segment you see. And you can't really do that when the pop-in is so awful, things just pop up when you're running past it. And sometimes the physics are fine, and the other times you're either magnetized to the ground or you're just flying into the air by a pebble. All those things can be improved on, and I acknowledge that. But have you ever played a game where you know it's objectively flawed? You know there are things that are wrong with it, but there are parts of it that just make you not care? This is that game for me, and don't you dare take this away from me. And like, you have to acknowledge that before this game, we had 10 years of either 2 out of 10 games or 1 out of 10 games, and the very rare instance of 0 out of 10 games. So you can understand how I feel when a 7 out of 10 game is, to me, peak fiction. I mean, have you seen the Titan fights? You see, this is what I've wanted this series to be for like a decade, and even though I am praising this game as much as I can right now, and how little the flaws actually bother me, I really have to look inside myself and ask, is this really Game of the Year for me? Like, honestly.
No.
But just like Legends Arceus, this restored my faith in the series tenfold. And I'm praying that the sequel that we get is gonna be like on the same quality jump as Adventure 1 to Adventure 2, aight? These are my standards now. If it doesn't meet it, I quit. On the franchise, and in life. Don't let me down. If a bomb looks like me, is that terrorism or narcissism? And now the final award. My Game of the Year. And the award goes to Elden Ring. This was the first game I played by FromSoft, and that's weird because if you couldn't tell, I really like RPGs, but I just never wanted to try anything by them. And not gonna lie, part of that reason is because I was scared. But with how much hype I was seeing from Elden Ring, I decided to bite the bullet and finally try it out. And can I just say that this game has the most unwelcoming opening I've seen in anything ever. After you finish creating your character, you walk a few steps, and then boom, you die immediately. And then after a cutscene plays, you wake up in a cave, and then obviously you're gonna be gravitated towards the door. So I went that way, still not knowing how to play, hoping to run into a tutorial, but instead I run into the starting area of the game, and the first enemy I see is a boss. And of course I die again. So this goes on for like an hour or two. I'm slowly stumbling to area, slowly learning how the game works, and I do manage to get better. It wasn't until like after 3 hours of playing is where I found out that instead of going to the door where I spawned, I was instead supposed to jump in the dark abyss in order to start the tutorial. You wanna know what the funniest part of all this was? If I did the tutorial instead of going straight to the door first, I think I would have enjoyed this game a lot less. Because those first couple hours of Elden Ring were some of the most memorable experiences I've had all year. There are the obvious great things about this game, like how amazing the game looks. Like, I love how I can see this golden tree in the background of everything I do, or how massive this game is, like how I entered this old village of old nuns dancing, and then when I reached the top of the village I'd find this mini boss that take away most of my HP in one hit. I love this game, and that's kind of the beauty of this game. Like in most other games I've played, if I was stuck on a boss, I just kind of had to deal with it. But in Elden Ring, if I was stuck on a boss or an entire area, I could just leave and do something else. Like as of right now, I have B and Morgan and I couldn't get through Stormville Castle. And you know what I did? I went to any other area in the game and I am having a great time.
Hey bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
Like my friends after finding out I didn't grow up with Teen Titans, FromSoft hates me. There's no way they don't. And you know what? If I can get more experiences like opening a treasure chest in a random cave and then being teleported in the middle of Caelid, I think that's fine by me. Just like everyone else, Elden Ring is my game of the year, because it has the courage to say fuck you to my face, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Well, that was a fun time. Sorry that I put this video off for so long, but I think this is the start of something great. And in about 1 or 2 years, who knows, maybe I'll be replacing Jeff Keighley at the Game Awards. And if that doesn't happen, I guess I could be side by side with them. Competition is a necessity. It can be healthy and completely harmless.